So just find a nice, comfortable seat to rest into. You might want to sit up onto a bolster or some cushions or blocks. Just finding a comfortable seated position and a nice tall spine, and really open up the heart space by drawing the shoulders back and down so you feel a nice openness across the heart, across the belly. So carrying on from the last couple of weeks, still working around forward folds and a little bit of work through twists, just to accompany that, the deepening of that twisting action and that wringing out action of the energy moving downward and targeting the kidney and urinary bladder meridian lines. So all about today, we'll be thinking more of terms of how do we more deeply let go, and what is it to really release and surrender to that release, so that we're not clinging and holding on to things that aren't serving us, whether that's physically, any toxicity or waste in the body, in the mind, emotionally. How can we really use our practice to allow more spaciousness into our bodies, more spaciousness into our minds, and in turn into the rest of our world? When we've got loads of waste or toxicity, things that aren't serving us, additional bulk and stagnation, how can we really allow spaciousness for what is meant to be in our lives to come close to us, when we've got a lot of just stuff around us that we don't need? So really looking at that for today's practice with the forward folds. And I just wanted to bring your attention more to a deepening of the exhalation as well. So throughout practice, really focus on the inhale is very nourishing and brings that sense of vibrancy, but in each exhalation, just trying to elongate that out. So we're focusing more on that exhale and that letting go, that release, that movement of energy downward. And that will be nicely backed up by the forward folds and that action of Apana, so energy, the wind of Apana, moving energy down. And we'll take around 40 minutes, 35 minutes of Yin, and then just move into a little bit of pranayama and meditation for today, focusing again on the exhalation and releasing toxicity from the mind in particular. So that's where we're going for today. We're going to start with a wide knee child's pose. So you might want to use a bolster or a long cushion, and take anything underneath the knees that's going to give you a nice bit of support and padding. Have the knees about as wide as your mat, or just as wide as feels comfortable. Again, if you need to pad up the back of the knees, just lift up and bring a blanket underneath the back of the knee to open the knee joint a little bit more. And then you can work with either a bolster in front of you, or maybe you wanted to add a little bit of height. It's quite nice to rest the body onto. You can do that too. And just bringing the arms to rest, either forearms down, or you can stretch the arms nice and long. Can also work without a bolster if that feels more comfortable or deepens the posture for you. But we're targeting this inner leg line and also bringing in our first forward fold. So take a few moments just to let your body settle into the shape. I'm going to be here for 4 minutes, starting from now. So bring your attention into your exhalation. Allow a really natural, effortless inhale. As you exhale, focus in, just bringing a little bit more of a deepening in. So maybe drawing the navel back more deeply, or finding a slower, more silent exhalation. Finding any way that allows you to deepen into that exhale. As you bring your awareness to the exhale, just tune into that sense of gravity, of the energy pulling you down. As we exhale, it's a deep release, and this happens on all aspects. A sense of surrender in the mind, a sense of letting go. But also physically, so we're pushing the toxic air out of the body, or waste products out of the way for the breath out. And how can we really allow that letting go in the musculature of the body, to dropping into the weight of gravity, that pull of gravity to the earth. So if you turned your head to one side, you can gently look to the opposite side. We're here for just 2 more minutes, just under. Just gently and very, very slowly begin to take your palms flat to the earth and start to pad yourself back to come into a lifted position. Really take your time as you transition out. You can move your knees in slowly, one at a time, and then either sit back onto the heels, or you can come to an all fours position. Maybe even downward facing dog might feel nice, just to stretch the legs out. And if there's any props in your way, just move them out to the side. If you prefer to lay down, you can also lay onto your back. Any movements that feel nice for you, just listening to your body's intuition and guidance. So it's often in the transitional phase where we see what we're releasing the most of, and it gives us just that time to integrate what we have changed, what we've moved, shifted. The transition phase is not to be dismissed or ignored. It's a crucial part of our process of letting go. So we'll move into a butterfly from here. So just working a little bit deeper into this inner leg line and forward folds. So spin your legs round to your side and then bring your feet together, knees apart. And again, if you're working with the legs a little bit further away from you, it's not going to be as strong of a stretch. So that might feel more comfortable, more sustainable. Or maybe bringing the feet slightly closer in, and you can hold on to the feet or hold on to the shins, might feel nice. And then you can just work the elbows to gently push onto the knees. Another option, maybe using a bolster or some cushions underneath your knees, that gives you a little bit more support. And then as much as it feels comfortable for you to fold in, you can either work just from a lifted position and slowly just bend halfway forward until you feel that pressure in the groin. Or if it feels good to keep coming forward, maybe stretching the arms might feel nice. Dropping the head might feel good. Or again, you can always lie on your back. So if it feels a little uncomfortable or feels more deep to lay back, you can always come into supine. So again, we're here for 4 minutes. Just gently allowing the body to open, to release as we wait and hold. Coming back into focus and awareness of our breath out. Really helping that energy to shift as we exhale. As we target this inner leg line and the back line of the body, we're really stimulating the body's meridian system to move into that release. We're targeting the kidney, the inner leg line, and the urinary bladder, which runs up either side of the spine. We're stimulating to the body's systems to find more release, to move into the qualities of what the kidney and the bladder brings. So kidneys is a filtration, it filters the blood. And it also acts as a generator for energy, so it houses our Qing essence. So releasing more energy for us to move forward. Sometimes it does take a little bit of energy for us to let go, to move on to something new, to recreate, to actually admit that something's not working or is not aligned anymore. And the urinary bladder is obviously removing toxicity from the body. So this is just supporting us on a mental level through the energetics of stimulating this meridian line to find more release of whatever is toxic to us. Toxic thoughts, toxic patterns or habits, toxicity in our work or social lives, in our home lives. Maybe just toxic emotions that's stuck or residing in the body. If it's just a minute and a half longer, if it feels nice to add any movement, maybe some rolls of the shoulder blade or moving the head side to side might feel quite nice in the neck and shoulders. Or maybe deepening into the shape, so pulling the feet closer in or moving any props away. Just dropping you a little bit deeper into the space of release. And really allow your breath to move in whatever way it feels helpful to assist in releasing also. So sometimes a yawn or a sigh might feel quite nice and cathartic for the body. Let's take a final round of breath wherever you are. And then with your next inhalation, we'll transition back up to either a reclined position, so laying down on your back, or you can work to just bring the feet onto the floor, move any props out to the side, and maybe take some knee sways, leaning back into the hands, or again, just laying down onto your back might feel quite nice. feel maybe some shifting around the groin area. We hold a lot of tension and resistance in the groin. Also around the outer edges of the hips. Take any final few movements or breaths, whatever you are. If you're reclined, just come up into a seated position. We're moving over to either a wall space, or you can work with your hips just elevated with a block or a cushion. So I'll show you a couple of options. If you wanted to work against the wall, we're taking legs up the wall. So just clear a little space next to the wall. Bring yourself as close up to the wall space as you can. And then allow your hips to slide round as you lay back. And then just take your legs straight up. So the closer you are into the wall, the more intense the hamstring stretch will be. And the further away your hips are from the wall, the less that it'll be. And we'll be here for around 7 minutes. So halfway through, I'll say you can take the legs wide. So just make sure you've got enough space as well if you wanted to take that variation. And you can always work with your feet flat on the wall as well. So just getting the energy to move down and stimulate through the chi, through the kidneys. But we're also going to get a bit more of a hamstring and spinal stretch as the legs are straight. And then we'll work into the inner leg line. If you wanted to work away from the wall space where you don't have wall space, you can take a block, a couple of blocks or some cushions, and we'll come through bridge. So just bringing the body down to the floor, taking your hips up to come into bridge, and then bring the blocks right underneath your lower back so you feel nice and supported in your sacrum. And then we can take the legs straight up from there. Resting with either the arms on the belly or out to the side. Well, it's quite nice as well to bring the arms up over the head. This just stimulates a little bit more chi flow into the lung and back of the heart area. There's a few options. Just find whichever variation feels good for you in this moment. And we're here for 7 minutes, so we're about a minute in already. So as we support the kidneys with this legs up position, really, really soothing for the nervous system. It allows all of the blood and chi or energy, prana, to flow back down from the legs where it can stay quite stagnant. It just adds a little bit more support into the kidneys filtration of the blood and stimulates that flow of energy of our chi, of our Jing essence, our vital essence, to start building up once again. So it's really, really, really nourishing for the body. And if you can do it every day for around 20 minutes, you'll really notice a lot of change in your energy level, in your nervous system, any swelling or tension in the legs as well removed. And also helping to just move that toxicity or stagnation from our circulatory system. Bringing more vitality and freshness into the body and the mind. Taking a moment to really tune in to where your mind is. No judgment, just acknowledging awareness, guiding it back to your breath or to sensations arising in your body. Just listening and being really present with ourselves, with our body. This is like a holding space for you to really drop in, acknowledge, to feel, create space to release. So for the last half, or just under half, if you wanted to take the legs wide to stimulate more into the inner leg line, that kidney meridian line, please feel free to take the legs wide. You can always support the edges of your legs with your hands. If you bend the elbows and just place the hands above the knees. Or if your legs are on the wall, you may not need that extra support. If you wanted to add a bit of extra weight, just bring the hands on the inner thigh. Take the final round of breath wherever you are. And if you've taken the legs wide, you can just slowly start to bring the legs back up through to center. And then slide the feet either down the wall or bring the knees into the chest. If you've taken a free standing, so supported shoulder stand, you can come through bridge again, just bringing the feet down to the floor, moving any props out to the side and let yourself come down. And if you're against the wall, you can just take a few rolls side to side with your knees hugging into the chest, and then roll off to one side and pause for a moment before coming to an all fours. And we'll just rebound here in a supine position. So you can either work with feet on the floor, knees bent, or you can take the legs out long into Shavasana, just here for a few moments to allow the body to assimilate that, coming into a really neutral position. Just take your time to get into your rebound space. We're here for about a minute or so. Maybe tapping into that sense of vibrancy or vitality, or even just a feeling of more fluidity and flow. Sensation of being energized. So we'll be moving into a twist from here. You can take a couple of options, either working with a very easy twist, feet on the floor, knees bent, and you can let your knees drop over to the left side and take the arms either into cactus or a wide shape. Maybe looking over the right shoulder. Or if you wanted to work a little bit deeper, just bringing the legs into a 90-degree angle, taking an inhale. And as you exhale, drop the legs over to the left side so the knees are stacking. If it feels like you need a bit of support in between the knees, then just grab a block or a cushion and bring that there for a little bit of support. And you can always work with one leg in and one leg stretched. So we'd take the right leg into the body and extend the left leg out long. That's not as strong, and you can use a bolster or cushion underneath to support that lifted knee. Try to wriggle through the shoulder blades, so both shoulder blades are glued down to the floor, and then you can look across your right shoulder if that feels nice for your neck. We're here for just around 2.5 minutes each side. Really allow your breath to move into the belly, so you feel that expansion deep into your navel area. And then maybe as you exhale, finding slight deepening into the shape with each exhale. Taking a final round of breath here on this side of the twist. And for next inhalation, guide your head back through to center and slowly come out of the twist, coming onto your back. Realign through the spine, through the hips, and move any props over to the side if you were using them. And then we can come onto the other side. So again, either feet to the floor, knees bent, or legs to a 90-degree angle and twist, or one leg extended and turning. Glue both shoulder blades down to the mat. Use any props that you might need on this side. And then you can look over your left shoulder this time as you turn to the right. Close down through the eyes and just come back into that nice deep rhythmic belly breathing, focusing on your exhalation. Taking a final round of breath here on this side. And with your next inhalation, guide your head back through to center and slowly roll yourself onto your back. Just take a moment to pause on your back with either feet on the floor, knees bent, or you can take the legs out long. Just finding some neutrality in the spine and hips. And allow your breath to come into the belly once again. So just finishing with a very short forward fold. You can gently bring your knees into the chest. Give yourself a hug in. And then take the toes together, knees apart. And you can either hold onto the shins or you can grab for the feet and interlace the hands around the feet. So this is Tarasana, star pose. Or if you prefer to work in happy baby stirrup, you can take the outside edges of the feet, shine the soles of the feet to the ceiling, and we want to pull the knees down towards the rib cage or the armpit area. So we've got that deep inner leg stretch, also working into the groin and forward fold. So just here for around a minute or so. Just breathing deeply into the belly. Find a nice long neck. Chin gently tucks towards the chest to elongate the back of the neck. And try to relax through the shoulders as much as you can. Become aware of any clenching through the jaw, the neck, the shoulders, even the eyebrows. Just here for 3 more rounds of breath. Gently releasing the feet or the legs. Now bring the feet flat down to the mat. Just take a moment here. Pause. Feel a gentle push into the feet to find a nice length into the back of the pelvis. And finishing with Shavasana here. So taking any props that you might want, maybe behind the back of the knees, you could bring a bolster. Maybe underneath the feet you might want to add some blocks just to lift the feet up higher. And make sure the heels are grounded. And you may like to bring a blanket behind the back of the head, giving a little bit of support to the back of the neck. So set yourself up, maybe even covering the eyes. Taking any final movements, maybe hug of the knees into the chest once again. And taking the arms wherever feels comfortable, maybe a nice outstretched body, arms slightly away from the body might feel nice. Or maybe even just bringing your hands into the heart and belly. Bring your attention back into your breath and feel your inhalation expand and swell the belly. And as you exhale, feel a sinking of the navel back towards the spine, a sense of gravity, really dropping your body into that weightiness, that deep surrender. Just gradually beginning to deepen your breath in and out once again. As you awaken, your body starts to move into the head, turning the head side to side. Just gently massaging the back of the scalp. And making some movements into the hands and feet, stretching, wiggling. And then taking a nice big stretch or hugging the knees into the chest again. Making some bigger movements. And when you're ready, just roll off to the side and pause on your side for a moment. Using your top hand, slowly press yourself up and move into a seated position. So grab again your bolsters and blocks and take a nice space. You can keep your eyes closed if that allows you to stay embodied and connected to your body. We're moving through just a short and simple but effective pranayama practice. And moving into a meditation just to clear any density from the mind for the final part of this practice. So find a nice comfortable seated position, really ground down through your sit bones and rise up through the spine. So you feel the energy all the way to the crown of your head lifting you up. Feel the shoulders roll back and down, open up your heart space. And just coming into breathing through the nose. Take a full exhalation. And inhale for a count of 4. 2, 3, 4. Exhale the breath out for 6. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Inhale for 4. Feel the belly rise and expand through the chest, all the way to the upper chest. Exhale for a count of 6. Feel the navel really draw back to the spine. Feel all of the breath pushing out from the lower belly. Inhale for 4. And expands, chest opens. And exhale for 6. Just slowing down the exhalation and really feeling that sense of release as we breathe out for slightly longer. Inhale for 4. And exhale for 6. Inhale for 4. Exhale for 6. Feel effortless in your exhalation. Just continue on at your own pace. In for 4, out for 6. And really finding that sense of softening, of surrendering, of peacefulness as you exhale the breath out. No struggle, no strain. Using the full breath in down to the belly and using the navel drawing back to the spine as you exhale the breath out. Just take 3 more rounds in your own time. Once you finish the final round, just allow your breath to return back to an even ratio, natural, spontaneous breath in and out. Now bring your awareness up into the brain or the head area. More specifically, the space in between the temples or just behind the forehead, to the midbrain area. Now in this space, visualize it like a magnet, and it is drawing all negative thoughts, feelings, emotions, any toxicity or waste in the mental body into this space in the midbrain. So you're gathering and collecting anything toxic, wasteful, negative. And with your next inhalation, draw all of this negativity down the spine, all the way down to the base of the spine into the pelvis. Gently lift the pelvic floor, engage Mula Bandha, and feel the energy hold here as you hold your breath in. Feel all of the energy dropping down into this lower part of the pelvis. And as you exhale, release the pelvic floor and see and visualize, feel all of this energy dropping down with your exhale into the core of the earth. Bring your awareness back up to the midbrain. And as you inhale, drag and magnetize all of that negativity, fear, doubt, worry, anxiety, resentment, burden, down the spine to the pelvis. Hold the energy at the pelvis. Lifting into the pelvic floor, holding the breath in. And then once you've gathered enough, release it with your pelvic floor into the earth. Exhale. Just continue that cycle, midbrain, down the spine, inhaling, holding at the base of the spine, collecting, gathering, and then exhaling to release into the earth. Really let the earth take anything that is causing you burden, causing you worry, doubt, stress, strain, fear, panic, anxiety, anger, anything of that. Just let it go with your exhale. Let's take in another 2 cycles through. Feel yourself becoming much lighter as you do this, just finishing your last round. And then allow your awareness to rest into the pelvic area, into the pelvic basin, and see or visualize or feel a downward pointing blue triangle in this pelvis area. So this is representing that elimination, the energy of Apana Vayu, the downward moving energy. And see the blue triangle with blue lightning bolts flashing out of bottom tip of the downward pointing blue triangle into the earth. And as it flashes, the lightning bolt, see and feel all of this negativity, any remaining fear, doubt, or worry, anger, releasing with that bolt of lightning into the earth. Just rest your awareness here in a sense of deep embodiment, groundedness, and surrender. Anytime the mind is drifting or wandering, just gently guide it back to the downward turned blue triangle, feeling all of the density, heaviness, negativity leaving your body with the bolts of blue lightning into the earth. Into your arm. Awareness in the pelvis. Now your attention and awareness to gently come back to your breath as you release the meditation. Slowly bring your hands into prayer, resting the thumbs onto your heart space, connecting into your heart center. And take a nice, deep, spacious breath in, feeling that vitality as you breathe into the spaciousness you've created. And as you exhale, feel a deep letting go, final release, as you let go of what is not serving, that is standing in your way, so that is blocking you from becoming your highest version. May we continually and always remember the power in letting go of what is not in alignment, what is not serving, and what is negative on all levels: mental, spiritual, emotional, and physical. May we find alignment with what is right for us, what is good for us, as we create space in that letting go and surrender. Namaste.